Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Wednesday afternoon coordinator availability. We got special teams coordinator Erik Link in the room. Once you guys get your hands up, we will get started. Mitch 40, power pursuit. Take it away, Mitch.
Erik, obviously there have been a few issues fielding punts this season. Coach Drinkwitz touched on that yesterday. I'm just curious, how do you go about addressing that, and what's your confidence level in Chris Abrams' drain going forward at that spot?
Yeah, I think the first thing that I would say regarding that is, obviously everybody sees the end result, right? You either catch it or you don't. But there's a lot of things that go into that. Just like I would compare it to a place kicker, right? There's a lot of moving parts on every place kick. There's the snap, there's the hold, there's the protection. It's very similar with a punt returner. In terms of the other 10 guys on the field got to do their job, and they got to make sure that guys, especially the opponent's gunners, aren't running in their face or they're not blocking them into the returner. And there's a lot of different components of that. So we've absolutely spent a large amount of time with our returners, all of our returners, on catching the ball and creating as much of a game-like situation as we can, with distractions, with just the fundamentals of catching the football, and we certainly have worked on that, and that's been an emphasis area for us. So that's certainly been we've worked on that a lot over the last couple of weeks. Chris Abrams Drain is going to be a dynamic football player for us, and he's still working as one of our returners, both as a punt returner and a kick returner. But he's working hard, and obviously understands what's at stake, and I have all the confidence in the world in Chris, and it's important to him, and he's working at it. We're going to keep moving forward.
Jack Sobel from the Man-Eater. Go ahead, Jack.
Hey, Coach. So you guys, we've talked about with you before the tough tests you guys have faced in the first couple weeks in punt returners and Waddle and Stingley, and you guys have pretty much neutralized them. Is there anything specifically you can point to that's gone into that effort?
Yeah, we spend a lot of time obviously game planning those guys and trying to make sure that not only are we doing things to get guys in coverage as quickly as we can, but also with our specialists. It all starts with our specialists in terms of them being able to place the ball where we want it consistently. Specifically in the punt game, the hang time and the distance have to match. There's a lot of different things that go into that. And then with obviously, Sean Ketting's done a phenomenal job with kickoffs in terms of, kicking touchbacks. But also, there's a ball placement element to that as well, with our kickoffs as well.
Peter Ball from The Athletic. Go ahead, Peter.
Yeah, Erik, how impactful, can it be for your punt returners to be able to get a few extra yards, especially when you're going up against a guy who can really boot it like Max Duffy on Kentucky?
Yeah, it's a huge deal. Anytime, we always talk about, and we would love to be able to average 10 yards a punt return. That's kind of the first down for the offense. But right now at this point, our focus is on securing the football, taking care of the football. I think Coach Drink probably said it. Our focus is it's been all about the ball. And we got to do a great job, and we got to do our part in the kicking game of taking care of the football as well, especially with the return units. But yeah, Max Duffy is a tremendous talent. Obviously his volume of work speaks for itself, but so we got to do a great job. And really and truly the number one component of a punt returner is first and foremost being a great decision maker. And those guys got to make great decisions, especially when you got a guy that places the ball and moves the ball and has the ability to move the ball all over the field.
Soichi Terada, Kansas City Star. Go ahead.
Hey, Erik, I was just wondering, what was kind of the process getting Grant here from Kentucky? And if, I guess how much were you a part of that? And have you kind of heard anything from him going up against his former team?
Well, I mean, the process was, we had a need area, and obviously we had an immediate need for our punter position, and so that's something that, to be honest, I worked on from the time I got here back in January, and so we worked on that for a long time. Obviously, ideally. You kind of see how spring ball goes. You fully evaluate what you have. And then, after spring ball, you make a decision of, okay, do we got a guy in house that we need, or do we need to go get a guy? And, with the 3 practices we had and just the experience level, we felt like we needed to go get a guy, and Grant was available, and the timing kind of worked out. And, as a grad transfer, it made a huge difference. And, he really brings, not only is he done a quality job so far as a punter, but he brings that experience element in the SEC, which I think is huge. And then in terms of us playing Kentucky and that being his former school, I think he's handled it very professionally. He's obviously got some close relationships with some former teammates and coaches and whatnot. But he's a Mizzou Tiger now, and that's his focus, and his focus is on doing his job to help us win.
Colin O'Brien, Jeff City News Screen. Go ahead, Colin.
Hey, Coach, I was just curious how many reps a guy needs to practice throwing the ball as a specialist for you to be comfortable to call it in a game. Grant told us yesterday he hadn't thrown a pass since 8th grade.
He hadn't thrown a pass in a game since 8th grade, you mean?
Yeah, I guess that's probably a more accurate way to put it, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, he got plenty of reps at that. That's something that we've repped for a long, long time. So I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, but I would guess probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 to 40 times.
Is that something you look for in a guy's history, just past experience, maybe as a quarterback or a receiver, having a comfort throwing it, or is it something that you can pick up with a full off season of preparation as a specialist?
No, I wouldn't say. I mean, in a punter, I don't necessarily look for that characteristic. Obviously, there's other more important characteristics, but we kind of see what skill set they have, what they feel comfortable doing, what we feel comfortable with them doing. But that's certainly something that we look at in each opponent. We look at the history of who their punter is, who their holder is, and if that's something that's in their background, that's certainly on our radar.
Next up is Bennett Durando, St. Louis Post-Dispatch. Go ahead, Bennett.
Erik, with Max Duffy's punting style, is there anything that you guys sort of do differently with just preparing for the rollout style or the rugby style with your punt coverage team?
Is there anything we do differently with our punt return team, you mean?
Yes, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, did you hear that? My connection's a little bad.
Yeah, I think what you're asking is there anything we do differently with Max Duffy's style of punting? Is that right? Okay. Yeah, I mean it's very similar to our normal preparation. Obviously, we got to identify what they do. Do they have the ability to rugby punt or roll punt? Are they a directional team? Are they a conventional team? That all goes into our game planning, and there's certain things that we will do from a game plan standpoint because he's able to move the ball around so well.
Any further questions for Coach Link? All right, looks like that's it.
All right.
Coach Link.
Thank you.